guys, it's Hannah and I'm here today with my January wrap up. So my January reading was pretty well. I read 7 books this month, which is pretty good. I'm like right on track for my 75 goal. And with this year, I'm going to try yet again. I love this spreadsheet that Brock from Let's Read does, and I've tried it before and I've kind of fallen off the bandwagon. I'm going to try it again this year because I really do like the whole stats thing. I just enjoy it. So I thought if I incorporated these into my wrap-ups, you guys would maybe hold me a little more accountable for keeping up with this. So I will leave a link down below for the spreadsheets if you guys want to follow along. I think they're a lot of fun, and it's a cool way to keep track of how much books you buy and what books you read and the stats for it. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link down below. So I've got my computer here, and it says that I have read a total of 2,436 pages this month. My average star rating was 3.79. So not like super great, but I've had some really good ones and some really bad ones to equal out. So that it kind of explains what that's going on there. And what I really particularly love about this is it keeps track of my TBR shelf. So my reading goal is, besides the 75 books to read, is I want to get through as much of my already owned books as possible. So from this shelf up is all books that I haven't read yet. So the total number was 70. So I've read 7 books this month, and you can keep track on this spreadsheet if it's been from this month or this year or purchased last year. So I really love that because it's going to be easy for me to keep track. So I have read 2 books that I have already bought this year, and the rest 5 books were books that I have received or bought in 2017. So I'm 5 down on my TBR of 70 books. So 65 more to go. But I really enjoy this, so I thought I would give you guys a little stats here. Out of those 2,436 pages, this is how the breakdown lays out. So I have 400 pages of manga that I've read. I've read 434 pages of historical fiction, 304 of graphic novel pages, and 1,298 pages of fantasy. So with that being said, let's get on into the wrap-up. The first book that I read, well, sort of, in the month of January was The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I listened to this on audiobook at the beginning of the month, and I really wasn't sure what I was getting into when I started this. So this book is about a story of characters that aren't the chosen one. So they talk about the chosen one, and it pokes fun at YA tropes in this book, and these are kind of the side characters, and they go through that not being in the spotlight, but maybe not being in the spotlight is a good thing, because the chosen ones in this, which we don't really know too much about, are the ones going missing in this and get killed often, but they always have these grand adventures as well. This book is definitely not a book that is like any other book that I've read. This is actually my first Patrick Ness, and I didn't mind the writing, and the storyline was really unique. I wasn't really sure how I quite felt about it. I did rate this a 3 out of 5 stars. In this, the story follows a group of characters who are these side characters, but they also have their own stuff going on as well. So it felt like a contemporary, but it was a contemporary trying to be a fantasy, because there was these weird things happening to the chosen ones, and there was like this like mystical thing going on in their town. So it was a contemporary. It felt like a contemporary trying to be a fantasy with fantasy elements, but it was kind of a different angle because it wasn't the main characters going through the fantastical elements in this book, sort of. It's kind of hard to explain. 3 out of 5 stars because I flew through it. I liked the characters. They were diverse and they were enjoyable to read from, and I was interested in their characters. But again, because they weren't the main heroes, it wasn't like anything big that was happening to them. So yeah, it was very conflicting because I enjoyed reading it. It was fast, easy to flow through like a contemporary, but it just wasn't anything gripping you back to the story because there wasn't a ton going on. So 3 out of 5 stars, 3.5 out of 5 stars for Patrick Ness. Next up is a graphic novel that I had to pick up because If you've seen my channel, I am obsessed with the series, and that is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. Now, this is volume 8. Saga, if you haven't heard, is a graphic novel that is a bit Romeo and Juliet with aliens mixed in. It's definitely an adult graphic novel because there are some very graphic scenes and language in this that is for adults. But I absolutely love it. It's so interesting to me. There's 2 different species of aliens and they're not really supposed to be together. There's a war going on and these 2 happen to find their way, and they are kind of the poster child to be hunted down to prove that these people can't be together, and this shows proof that they can get along. So it's just fantastic. This one I rated a 4.5 out of 5 stars because it's Saga, because I love the characters. I love the artwork in this. Brian K. Vaughan does an amazing job with this. However, this one felt very much geared toward the personal lives of the characters, and I really wanted more action in this, more about the war and what's going on in the world, and I didn't get that, but I still love it because it's Saga and Brian K. Vaughan, and everything is great about this. So if you haven't checked this out, I highly recommend. Next up is one book that I think will stick with me for a long time because she has been my new recent favorites that I found, and I adore her, and that is Carrie Maniscalco with Hunting Prince Dracula. I never tab books, and I have 2 tabs in this because it just was so fantastic. So I did rate this a 4.75 out of 5 stars. I mean, it's right in between 4.75 and 5. It's basically 5 stars. The only part is that it does get kind of slow in the middle, and that's where I've docked it. And I was trying to be more critical with this one because I love this so much, and I know that it's hard for me. So honestly, it's probably a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm changing it. It's a 5 out of 5 stars. This book is so good. If you guys haven't picked up, the first book is Stalking Jack the Ripper. It's right there. It is all about a girl named Audrey Rose who is the story is based in the 1800s, so this is where my historical fiction fits in, and she's in the 1800s. She is supposed to be just a demure lady, and she isn't supposed to be having pretty much any ambitions or doing anything unsavory for her status, and what she really wants to do is be in the medical field, and she wants to work with her uncle who is a mortician, and so she apprentices him kind of in secret because society wouldn't approve of it, and it's so good. It's so science-based. If you guys like the show Bones, I highly recommend checking out this series because it is so good. Along with Audrey Rose working with her uncle, there's also a boy named Thomas Cresswell who is sort of her rival with the apprenticeship, but also they're also partners, and it's very Sherlock Holmes Watson vibes that they kind of egg each other on, and their team. It is so good. If you are looking for great storyline, great wit, granted, after reading this, I've discussed with some people that it is pretty predictable. However, I thought there was enough doubt in the series that I couldn't call it at the end, so there's that. I highly recommend checking out this series. Next up in the month of January, I picked up Rose, and this is by Meredith Finch and Iji Guerra, and I rated this a 2 out of 5 stars. I was severely disappointed in this book, and I am so disappointed because I was so looking forward to this. This is supposed to be about a girl who is a warrior witch who has a sidekick that is a big giant panther, and they are these fated characters who are supposed to be very feared. Guys, I thought this was going to be so good, and the only reason why I got a 2 out of 5 stars is because the girl Rose has this awesome mental connection with the cat, and she can talk to the cat through her brain, and that was the coolest part of it. This was kind of awful. The artwork is really cool. That was another point that was good about it. But otherwise, there is barely dressed female characters who are supposed to be these badass villains, and they are not. And there's no character development in this. The villain just wants to be mean. The villain is just the villain. There's no backstory, there's no meat. We know nothing about her or why she's doing this. There's a war going on. We don't know what's going on. All we know are these people are hunting these magical people, and these magical people are on the run. That's it. So if anybody else has read this and I am missing something major, please let me know down in the comments below, because I would love to love this series and it just didn't happen for me. Next up on audiobook, I picked up The House of Hades by Rick Riordan. This is the fourth book in the Heroes of Olympus series. This one I rated a 3 out of 5 stars. Rick Riordan, I don't think is the writer for me, and I just, like, his characters are enjoyable, and I did like the Heroes of Olympus better than the Percy Jackson series, and I did like this book. The only thing is I'm not a big fan of Percy, and I like Annabeth. I'm not a big fan of Percy. I don't know why. I just don't like his personality, and the only thing saving this right now is Leo. Leo's my favorite character out of both series, and I just find him enjoyable and funny, and I really like his personality, and I like his backstory and everything. So the problem with this, I found, it might be because it's middle grade, but the characters just overcame things too easily, and it just was like way too convenient for the storyline, and it could have made it more dynamic if it wasn't so easy for them to overcome things. But yet again, it's middle grade, so I might be a little biased with this. So that's why I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next up in the month of January was our Muggle Studies Book Club Pick of the Month. If you guys don't know what that is, me and Gabby over at Gabs About Books have our own book club, which is Muggle Studies Book Club. We have a Goodreads page where we talk about lots of fun things with the book. We dissect it into chapters, and you can come talk to us in those sections. And we also do a live show, which was over on Gabby's channel this past month in January, and our book was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I by far loved this so much. It was so good. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. The development of Jude in this is so good. So if you guys haven't heard, I'd be really surprised if you haven't. It's all over BookTube. Cruel Prince is about a girl, Jude, who is trying to fit into this Fae world, and she is immortal, and the Fae in this world really dislike mortals, and they think that they're beneath them, so she is trying to make her way in the world and prove that she, like, deserves respect and deserves to be in this world, and she's been there for a while, and she still hasn't gained that respect, so it's kind of an ongoing battle, and there's such intrigue, and there is, like, the politicalness of the court in here, and it's so good, and it feels kind of like Game of Thrones to me a little bit with the events that take place. It's so good. I really enjoyed it. The character development is top-notch in here. I really liked the world building as well. I highly recommend checking this one out. Alright, I'm gonna have to hurry through this because my camera literally just died and I've got to go to work. So, I picked up Fruit Baskets by Natsuki Takiya. If I'm saying this wrong, please leave a comment down below, let me know, because I know there is someone out there who knows how to say this. So I rated this a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I had some issues with this. The main character just doesn't stand up for herself very well, and I didn't love that. So if you guys don't know what Fruit Baskets is about, it is about a girl who essentially meets this family who transforms into the Chinese zodiac. Like, each person transforms into a specific animal from the Chinese zodiac if they are embraced for the opposite sex. So it's a really cool concept. I really like this. I also watched the anime with this, and I really enjoyed the anime as well. I just don't like that Toru Honda doesn't stand up for herself. There's a character in here who, because they are acting like their Chinese zodiac, they're very front forward with how they're acting is a reflection of their animal. So in here there is Kyo, who is a cat, and he is very rude to her at several points, and she's like, it's okay, like, it's fine. And I didn't like that part, so it got docked for that. There's also a part in here where is the ram of the Chinese zodiac, or the boar, and she like says something like, well, if you cheat on me, like, I'll just chalk it up as like poor decision making. And I just was so irritated that that was put in here, because I know that there's younger children who read this and who thinks that that's okay if you just write it off. Now, I have had the conversation with Trisha, who said that maybe it's like a cultural thing, that might be a part of it, but as I was reading this, I just really didn't like those aspects of it. I definitely am going to pick up the second volume because I really did enjoy it. So it's very enjoyable content, but there is some problematic things that happen in here. So sorry to rush through the end of this video. My camera is blinking and I need to do my outro before it ends. So thank you guys for watching. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you read this month, and if you are new here, subscribe to see more content from me, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!